The Backburners is brought to you in partnership with Speak Studios and Speak Boise. Speak Boise is a community-driven studio space where voices from all walks of life can speak and be heard. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook at Speak Studios, Speak Boise, and at their website, speakstudios.com. Speak Studios. Speak and be heard.
This podcast is also brought to you by Instant Imprints. Promote better with Instant Imprints. Instant Imprints are Boise's visual communication experts and your place for everything you need to promote your business, club, school, or group. As a locally owned business, Instant Imprints specializes in making your organization more visible with custom branded apparel, embroidery, promotional items, print services, and a wide format printing for signs, as well as banners and vehicle graphics. What better ways to get noticed? Visit Instant Imprints at instantimprints.com/Boise or call 208-IMPRINT. That's 208-467-7468.
Hello and welcome to the 10th episode.
We made it.
Of the Backburners. I'm Dylan Sherman.
And I'm Sam Tiller. We want to thank you for lending your ears for another hour of non-stop sports entertainment.
Before we start, let's highlight our producer. Fabio, you did quite an amazing job with this new space.
You did. You busted your balls, man.
Thank you.
It looks really good. We have, there's more room to operate. I can stand and point and yell at him, which is really nice. We actually have a direct eye line sight at each other.
We can stare deep into each other's souls the entire time.
I don't know if I like it or I hate it. I
love it.
guess we'll find out. I mean, this is our first. This is our first time in the studio. It feels good. We have our own safe space.
Yes.
So, Fabio, you did a great job renovating this place. I'm a slut for exposed brick. We got some brick over here.
It looks good.
We have a special guest. We have our new social media manager.
Unpaid.
No college credit, even though she's graduated. Chef LaRocca, pulling double duty as podcast chef and social media manager. And she doesn't have a microphone, so she can't talk.
Yep. Thank God.
But we'll talk for her. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks, guys, for having me. This is a blessing. Oh, you're welcome. This is our 10th episode.
It is.
We did it. We made it to double digits.
Next up, trip.
Yep. Well,
triple digits.
We've got a ways to go before that.
Yeah, well, we're going to get there. To the fucking moon.
You know what they say? When a podcast hits double digits, an angel gets its wings.
I've never heard anybody say that, but you should coin that phrase.
It's a pretty 2021 phrase because there's a lot of podcasts out there now.
I think a lot, like if you're going to start a podcast and you don't get to 10 episodes, like, are you really trying?
That's true. I'm just happy to be here, man.
So am I.
We made it to 10.
Space it's awesome. The lighting, everything, it's great.
Yeah, I got room to operate. Well, this is a sports podcast hosted by two former jocks whose sports knowledge is a mile wide and an inch deep. Whether it's breaking down the latest slate of professional, college, and obscure sports, or debating the best game day traditions, we've got you covered. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Backburners Pod, and give us a listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Pods. I'm sorry. I'm happy we're on there.
Yeah, but it's been like 7 weeks now.
But it's the biggest company in the world.
Okay,
and we're on it. We're a part of it.
It's not like it's an application process.
Exactly.
Don't tell them that.
We just had to get verified.
Don't tell them that.
Heavy pour there.
Yeah, you Chef LaRocca bringing in the snacks tonight. We got some pita, we got some tomatoes, carrots, broccoli, and what is that? Hummus? That's the food of my people.
We're just taking a little trip to the vineyard.
Right.
Shout out to the Boise Bodega for supplying all of our podcast needs.
Exactly. Maybe they'll sponsor us. Anyways, with that tomfoolery aside, let's get into I Disagree. It's my prompt this week, and it's a beautiful time of the year. It's kind of like when a caterpillar is about to come out of its cocoon.
And emerge as a beautiful butterfly.
And that beautiful butterfly is dun 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 football season.
But specifically,
Fantasy football season. So for my question for you is, who should be the number one pick across all fantasy football leagues? I guess since it's my prompt, I'll go first.
I thought it was a question to me.
Okay, you know what? That's right. Okay, why don't you go ahead?
All right. Christian McCaffrey, CMC, baby. He is amazing. I mean, what else can you say about him? I talked about him last week. I'm going to talk about him again. He's so good, especially if you're in a PPR league. His receptions out of the backfield are going to be huge for you. He's going to probably average 20 to 25 points a week. And at your running back one spot, that's huge. There's no better option than Christian McCaffrey. He's been really durable through his whole career. Granted, he had that injury last year, but prior to that, he doesn't have any injury issues throughout his college or professional career. He's a solid option. He produces week in, week out because he's their best offensive player, so they're going to give him 20, 25, possibly 30 touches a week. He's great. He's going to score probably one touchdown a week. There's 6 points for you. 4 or 5 receptions. There's another 5 points. He'll have 80 rushing yards, 80 receiving yards. He is a PPR monster, and there's no other way to put it. I've never had him because I've never had the number one overall pick, but who doesn't wish that they had Christian McCaffrey on their fantasy team? He's been consistently one of the top running backs for years in fantasy football, and he always goes in the top 3 to 5 picks, I'd say. This year, I think, without a question, Sam Darnold as his cornerback, Matt Rule, second year in that offense, Christian McCaffrey, no doubt.
Yeah, it's really tough to argue against that. I think you made some good points. I think the biggest kind of X factor in this question about, I'll tell you in a second who I am going to pick. It's all on quarterback play, I think.
Yeah.
Especially in PPR leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got to be able to, the quarterback of whoever you take number one has to be able to deliver the football to that person.
So I had a tough time coming up with my pick. I was thinking about it, and I was going to pick Alvin Kamara.
There's just too many questions at Saints quarterback.
Right. So that's exactly why I didn't pick him. You know, he had a monster year last year.
I still think he's going to have a very good year.
I think so too, but I think there's somebody else who's going to have maybe a better year.
Yeah.
And that's Dalvin Cook.
Interesting. Okay.
Dalvin Cook.
I did not see that coming.
So 2019 was his breakout year.
Yeah.
He let's see. He averaged 9.8 yards per catch on 53 catches.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane. That was 2019, mind you. It's not now. 2019 accounted for 52% of the team's carries. So he's obviously solidified himself as the back in Minnesota.
Well, he's there. He's a 3-down back.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
He is an absolute 3-down back who can also catch and who can just pound the fucking rock.
Yeah.
And last year, the Vikings only carried the ball 8 fewer times than they did in 2019. And he commanded 66% of the rushing attack for the Vikings.
It's impressive.
He's a 3-down back. Now, a little bit of a fumbling issue.
Yep.
We saw that.
Minus 2 points right there.
Minus 2 points. He had a bit of a fumbling issue in college. And he did a little bit. He's kind of had a fumbling problem up to this point in his career. But last year, he played in 14 games. He scored in 11 of those games. And 4 of those games were multiple touchdown games. And what's going to be interesting to see is with the addition of Justin Jefferson, are his targets going to go significantly down? Justin Jefferson's rookie year was last year. Dalvin Cook had a pretty damn good year last year. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see with Justin Jefferson making his second-year strides, how that's going to coincide with Dalvin Cook's performance. I think we both picked two guys who are easily going to go in the top 5 of any fantasy draft this year.
Oh, for sure.
And it's really going to be based on preference.
Yeah,
really.
But, I mean, even if Justin Jefferson, he's a great wide receiver, even if he gets more targets this year than he did last year, and he probably is because he is a fantastic wide receiver, they're still going to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook. So he's still going to produce huge numbers for the Vikings. Obviously, he's going to rush for 1,300 yards probably, 10, 12 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged, 24 points per game last year in fantasy, Dalvin Cook.
So was he like the running back 2, 3, something like that?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
24.2, that's high.
I mean, he's on a top 10 rushing team, a top 10 scoring team.
Yeah. The Vikings have a very good offense, and that's why I'm high on them.
I know you're high on the Vikings. I'm higher, obviously, on Kirk Cousins than Sam Darnold. Now, mind you,
yeah,
if you want to really get down to the X's and O's, if you're throwing to a running back, you're not throwing really intricate routes. You're throwing wheels, you're throwing screens, you're throwing Texas routes.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to be a gunslinger or super accurate to throw to your running back. But I guess, I would take, I don't know. I like Dalvin Cook.
I do too. I think I had him a couple years ago, and he's a monster.
He really is. So there it is. We picked two guys who are going to go in the top 5 easily.
I need to do more research on fantasy football.
See, I do too.
Because we got our draft coming up here soon, and
we do.
To put it lightly, I'm a fucking god at fantasy football. I dominate the league, and last year I didn't play because I wasn't going to be able to set my lineup and hit the waiver wire like I usually do because of the profession that I was in. But this year it's going to be full go for me on fantasy football, and I'm back, baby. The back-to-back champ is here. And I think the rest of the league is going to have some issues. Miles won last year. He ain't going to win this year. It's going to be me. I'm going for the 3-peat, baby.
I'm going to do everything in my power to stop that from happening.
Yeah, because you're a corrupt-ass commissioner. You're more corrupt than Roger Goodell.
That is such bullshit.
Yes, you are. Okay, when I won the first championship, what'd you do?
I pocketed the money.
No, you didn't pocket the money because nobody gave you any money. You traded me Alvin Kamara for the championship week because I bought you 10 roof tacos. And people were pissed.
So what you're saying is that you needed me for one of your championships.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, because I would have won regardless. But I guess 2 years ago now, I dominated that league.
What do politicians do? They make backdoor deals. And I made myself a backdoor deal. Hey, it was worth it for the tacos.
The $10 in tacos that I bought you.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
I mean, it was our buy-in amount. So
to piss 8 other people off in the league.
Listen, if they were so pissed off, they wouldn't join the league. We already have our members this year. We have
That's
2
true.
open spots. So if you want to join the Backburners, it's actually not the Backburners Fantasy League. It's the Imagine Farms Fantasy Football League. Shout out to Imagine Farms.
It's a great name.
Hopefully they'll sponsor us.
There's no
A
way.
hydroponic vegetable company in Miami-Dade.
We'll sling that veg for you,
We'll
baby.
sling that veg up here. We got some good restaurants. Some cruciferous veg, maybe. Anyways, how about quote of the day?
Love this.
We have some great quotes. Trav, why don't you go first? I'll let Trav pull up, cue my quote here in a second. Why don't you go first?
Okay. So, my quote, we've talked about this guy a little bit on this podcast, but I'm just going to say the quote first, and then I'm going to say the man. The quote is, I took Viagra before every game, and people thought they'd stop me. How you going to stop me running on 3 legs every Sunday? The man who said it, Chad Ochocinco.
The man who bribed a referee with $1 bill.
Yeah, but the ref didn't even take it.
He actually got an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, as he should. Like, it's a $1 bill. Come on, dude. I mean, it's not shocking that he said that because, like you said a couple weeks ago, like we said Forrest Gump, he's dumb. Chad Ochocinco is stupid.
Right.
And that's a stupid thing to say.
Right. And let's reiterate, the difference between dumb and stupid is that stupid knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
But they're making a bad decision.
And they do it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Dumb is,
you don't know what you're doing is dumb.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a stupid thing to say.
I respect it. I respect the honesty.
Do you really think he took Viagra before every single game?
Absolutely. I think so.
But why? It's not a PED. Why?
But it's Chad Ochocinco. There's no rationale.
Yeah, but like just popping a chub on the field.
It gets you torqued. I mean, listen, as somebody whose drink has been spiked with gas station boner pills, let me tell you, that shit gets you going.
Does it like? I mean, I've never taken it, so does it like amp you up? Does it like
you just feel kind of spurts of energy, and you're just like.
So it's kind of like, I guess
it's like it's pre-workout for your dick. That's really what it is.
Right. Okay. So what? So then why wouldn't he just take pre-workout before he went on the field?
Because he's like, I want my dick to look so good on national TV. I want everyone to be like, I'm not even focusing on the game. Everyone needs to focus on my dick and balls.
Okay.
So
this got explicit quick.
It did. It did. Make sure we got that E on Spotify and Apple Pods, Fabio. Do you want to cue my quote up here?
Yeah, you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. But before we do that, this man needs no introduction.
Nope.
He appeared in The Hangover. He has a face tattoo, and he could kill anybody on the planet. Trav, cue it.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
I broke my back. Spinal. Mike Tyson. Iron Mike. Anything he does, it's just really fun. Spinal.
If you want to talk about brain damage, he is the poster child for brain damage. There's no way he doesn't have CTE.
Yeah. But he's so goddamn entertaining.
Yeah, he is. And his voice does not fit his body. Like when you look at somebody, you can kind of guess what their voice is going to sound like.
Yeah.
And if you had no idea who Mike Tyson was and he walked up to you and he's just this massive human being and he goes, "What's up? My name is Mike." You would lose your shit. You'd be like, that doesn't work. It makes no sense.
Yeah. There's just something about him. He has an aura that I think people gravitate to. He's just so entertaining. He's nothing but controversy. He went on to a morning talk show. And I think at this point he was in trouble or was in a little bit of trouble with the law for a possible, I think, sexual assault case and or rape case. Not really good. And the host was like, "Hey, Mike, what's going on with your legal troubles?" And he's like, "You a piece of shit." "You a motherfucker, man. You a piece of shit." And his eyes, I think it's his eyes that get me. He's an absolute murderer. In the ring.
Yeah, he has CTE, but he gave a lot of dudes CTE back in his day.
I mean, he bit a man's ear off. He Van Gogh'd a motherfucker.
God. Yeah, he's an outrageous human.
Anyways, that was my quote of the day. I broke my back spinal.
Spinal.
How about we get in a little say what?
Go for it.
All right. Uh, so, my say what is a man. He's a former German footballer, and he was also a coach who actually works right now as the sporting director of Dynamo Dresden. His name, Ralph Minge. Now, do you know what a minge is?
Nope.
A minge is a woman's private parts.
Okay.
Minge. Look that up on Urban Dictionary.
Can you really trust Urban Dictionary though? Because you can look anything up. You could like go into Urban Dictionary and be like microphone, and it.
No, it is a British term. You got a stinky minge there, boy. So he was an international player for East Germany and spent his entire professional career with Dynamo Dresden. Let me show you a picture of Ralph Minge.
Okay.
Because when you look at him,
does he look like a minge?
How do you spell minge?
Minge, but it's RALF because he's of German descent, of course.
Isn't that how you spell Ralph?
RALF? No. Well, not in the States. It's RALPH.
Then you spelt it wrong on the doc.
I must have.
Yeah.
But it's RALF.
Okay.
Are you pulling it up, Trev?
The Urban Dictionary?
Oh, I thought you were pulling up a picture of Ralph.
A picture
Minge.
of Ralph.
No, I can do it. I'll show him. This. Let me just make this bigger.
Oh, is he a German former soccer player?
He is a
Wow, his eyes are...
This is Ralph Minge.
Very German, yeah.
He is...
Can you see that?
Sketchy looking. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah. Fortunately, he was fired, so that Minge was...
Fortunately,
that Minge was put out on the street. So, Ralph Minge, it's not an obvious name unless you know what a minge is. And luckily I do. And luckily I'm a great storyteller and explainer. So
it was wonderful.
You actually learned something from being on this podcast. You know what a minge is.
Even if it's not useful information.
Right.
It's information nonetheless.
Right.
All right. So our two sports-related people kind of have similar last names because yours is Minge.
In a sense.
Mine is more just like overt and out there.
Yep.
Jim Bob Cooter. That is, I think, the best name in football.
Mm-hmm.
He's an offensive coordinator. He has been an offensive assistant for the Colts, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and then he was the offensive coordinator for the Lions for a couple years. And most recently, he was hired as the running back coach for the Jets under Adam Gase. I doubt he's still there because Gase isn't there anymore, and that's like all that it goes into with him. So I'm not sure where he is anymore, but Jim Bob Cooter.
Jim Bob.
If you had to guess where that man's from, it's the South, somewhere in the deep South,
right?
Like
I'm
Lafayette,
thinking.
Louisiana,
Right?
Mobile, Alabama, something
swampy.
like that.
It's very swampy.
It's Jim Bob Cooter.
Well, let's go on down to the Cooter's house.
See, I want to name my dog, the first dog that I own, Jim Bob.
JBC.
Yeah, JBC. But not
Jim Bob.
I don't want to name my dog Cooter because if I have to call my dog and like I'm in a park and I'm like, Cooter, come here. It's just like,
What is that? That kind of sounds like a different dog name, though. You could just tell other people that it's just like the way you say it,
Listen, that dog
like
is
it's Scooter, but you really are just yelling Cooter every time.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I said Scooter, and
true.
you just gotta on your grave stick to Scooter. But
I just feel like some Karen at a dog park would get real mad at me.
That dog is better off in the fucking pound
Why?
than it is being named Jim Bob.
It doesn't know what its name is.
It does know what its name is. It responds to its name. That's
Okay.
what dogs do. They respond to their names once they learn it.
But it can't like comprehend like, oh my God, my name is Jim Bob. Like if you were named Jim Bob, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, I'm a redneck. But if a dog is named Jim Bob, it's just like, oh, I'm JB. Like It doesn't know that like that's a redneck name.
All I'm saying is that I think you should choose wisely what you name your first dog. And it should not be Jim Bob.
See, the thing with dog names...
Jim Bob, are you serious? Are you serious right now?
See, my thing is, like with dog names, they have to be something that's short and that you can say loudly so that, like, if your dog is far away, it can hear you. It can't be something you can't
Maximilian!
yell. Exactly. Like, you can't say that loudly and it's not short. So, like, you can scream Jim Bob.
You can.
And it's going to know. Jim Bob. Come on, that's a great, especially because I want a healer.
Sure.
It's perfect. Just imagine a blue healer with a little bandana on, cute as fuck, Jim Bob.
Somebody's going to have to call animal control and take that dog from you.
I love animals, okay? And I love dogs. And I would treat that thing with RESPT.
Find out what it means to me.
That dog would have a great life.
Would it now?
It would, yes.
I don't know. We'll see.
It would ride shotgun in my car. And, yeah.
Just you can make a sitcom out of that. Sam and Jim Bob.
Sam and Jim Bob Adventures.
Wow. That would be...
Driving around in the Lincoln.
It's a Cadillac, god damn it.
Driving in the taxi. Oh, how about we get into some hot takes?
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Let's do it. That's enough about Jim Bob.
Enough about cooters for me.
Yep.
Enough vaginal references in this show.
So
we have elderly people listening to our podcast.
Well,
we have my family listening to it. We have friends of my grandparents. We should tighten up.
Okay. Tightening up here. So, be quiet. Shh.
Yes, the elderly are listening, Chef.
So this has been a pretty football-centered podcast.
Oh, fuck me.
And I am going to talk about more football. The U.S. men's national team, baby. Let's go. This is for all of my haters out there because they love it when I talk about soccer.
Listen, nobody likes it. Nobody likes it when you
No,
talk
there
about
are
soccer.
people that like it. It's just we have some fairly vocal friends who shall go unnamed because they are not worthy, that just don't enjoy it, and that's their problem, not mine. The U.S. men's national team just beat Mexico again in the Gold Cup final. And let me tell you what, the U.S. men's national team, they're a top 10 team in the world. Our FIFA ranking right now is 20. And we beat Mexico, whose FIFA ranking is 11, for the second time in a couple months. So tell me we're not a top 10 team. From top to bottom, there is so much talent on this team. It was our B squad, and they beat Mexico in Las Vegas with 65,000 people in the Death Star. It was an amazing game. So fun. 1-0. Miles Robinson with a header in the 118th minute to win that motherfucker. God, it was so fun to watch. And we were watching it with a friend of ours who is of Mexican descent. And let me tell you what, he was not happy that Mexico lost. And that just made my joy even more because I hate the Mexican national team. I think they're dirty. I think they dive on a bunch of calls. I've never been a fan of the Mexican national team. And it feels so...
You sound so close to slipping up.
And it just feels so good to beat them. We are the best team in CONCACAF. Shut up, Trav.
Reel it back. Reel it back.
We are the best team in CONCACAF. The FIFA rankings are going to come out here in a couple weeks, and we better be ranked higher than Mexico, or I'm going to lose my fucking mind. The U.S. men's national team is a top 10 team in the world. We're going to make the quarterfinals in the 2022 World Cup. Change my fucking mind.
Boring. Anyways.
Fuck you.
Well, that was. I don't want to say that's great. I'm glad you didn't go on for 15 minutes of incoherent rambling.
Oh, I'm not done. I can keep going.
Please be done.
So here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing about the national team that you don't understand.
I don't, and I don't give a shit.
No, yes you do, because tell me I'm wrong. You enjoyed that game on Sunday night.
I enjoyed the pizza that we made more than I enjoyed that game.
That disaster of a pizza.
No, it wasn't a disaster. It was good.
No, it was a disaster.
Okay, no, the margarita was good.
Yes,
Well, let's
it
not
was.
talk about that right now. We're talking about your stupid fucking
Anyways,
sport.
you don't have an appreciation for the men's national team like I have because you haven't been watching soccer for as long as I have.
No.
If you have been watching the U.S. men's national team for 7-8 years, then the moment on Sunday night was so big because of the fact of where we were just 4 short years ago. We didn't qualify. It looked so bad. We didn't have a coach. In comes Greg Berhalter. And to say he's done an amazing job is the understatement of the century. That man is a great coach. He's implemented a culture. He has built the team from top to bottom. Our B team is very talented. So many young players. This U.S. men's national team is going to be so good in the coming years. We got the World Cup in 469 days, November 21st or 24th, I don't know. Sometime in November of 2022, we're going to be in Qatar, and we are going to shock the world. All right, I'm done.
Jesus. Okay. That was fun. That was fun to let you go like that. Trav, get ready to cue the second video there, pal. So my hot take. So Dan Campbell, the new head coach of the Lions, is somewhat of a maniac. And this was his press conference, his first press conference. Trav, go right ahead.
Bad. Because I felt like I knew this community. I played here. All right. Here's what I know. Just as an overall philosophy, you're going to say, well, what's this team going to be? What's it not going to be? Here's what I know. All right. I know that Detroit's made up of great people, some really good people. All right. This community is strong. This place has been kicked. It's been battered. It's been bruised. And I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you, hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that shit. So excuse my language. All right. Here's what I do know is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city. All right. And this city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right. It's found a way to overcome adversity. All right. And so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
This is why I hate the culture behind sports.
That's why I love it. Are you serious?
It was just like, that was like some high school locker room speech.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. Let me tell you. Dan Campbell is authentic. He said that he's not going to give you this bullshit, blah, 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 bullshit. He's going to fucking implement a culture of people who bite kneecaps. And that's my hot take, is that Dan Campbell himself, the head coach of the Lions, is going to bite somebody's kneecap this year. And he is going to do it. He's going to get up with a pool of blood in his mouth. He's going to look at the camera and go, ah. That's my hot take. He's going to bite a referee's knee.
See, here's the thing. He's going to have to bite a lot of them because they're going to be trash this year.
They're going to be not good.
They're going to get knocked down a lot. They're going to eat a lot of punches, to quote him, and they're not going to throw a lot back because they're fucking garbage.
Listen, I know that, but I'm just saying I think he's going to bite somebody's kneecap this year.
So What's the over-under on the amount of kneecaps Dan Campbell bites per game?
Listen, so I actually think it's realistic. I think that people made fun of it so much that it's a thing. And so if they have a good play, if they win a game in like a crazy way or something, I could see him like doing that to one of his players and biting a knee. like fake, obviously. I would say the over-under for knees bitten this year.
Per game.
Wait, per game? No.
Per game, because they're going to get slaughtered.
No. I think we should just, I'm going to go for the season.
Okay.
I would say the over-under, I would set it at, they're not going to win a lot of games, so I'm going to go with 3 knees. I'm going to go with 3 bitten knees.
He's actually going to physically bite the knee.
He's going to get down
on his knees,
and he's going to bite one of his own players' kneecaps as a joke, because now it's a thing that people know, and they're going to be like, Dan, when are you going to bite a knee? When are you going to bite one? And he's going to do it as a joke. They're not going to win a whole lot of games, but when they do win the games, it's going to be special, and he's going to bite someone's kneecap. Over under 3 knees.
I mean, I would love to see that on national television. A player actually get their kneecap bitten by their head coach, because that's going to be outrageous. That's going to be more outrageous than Jamias eating a W in the pregame huddle.
It's going to look like he's the coach is trying to like SSD after the game. Like when he gets on his knees for that first time, it's going to be so funny to be like, what the hell is, and he's like, oh, it's that thing from the press conference. But like, it's going to look so bad at first.
Right. It's going to be like, wait, what does he do? Oh, he's biting the knee, because he said that in the press conference.
And then right after he bites the knee, they pour like the Gatorade jug on him, and it's just like, it just gets way too sexual.
And the Gatorade, and the Gatorade's red, so it's just nothing but like red and
just blood everywhere.
Okay,
so who had a worse first press conference, Dan Campbell or Adam Gase a couple years ago? Because he looked like he was on some shit.
I would also like to enter in the Eagles' new head coach. He had a press conference.
Nick Saratini, something like that.
Something Italian.
Yeah. I think it's Saratini.
Yeah. The Eagles' new head coach. He did not have a good first press conference. He was obviously nervous. I think it's his first head coaching job. I don't think Dan Campbell had a bad first press conference. I love it. I love
such a bold thing to say.
I love how authentic he is. And
You're going to physically assault someone in your first press conference?
That's not the point, dum-dum. The point is that he's trying to assert himself as a guy who's like, I understand the culture. I understand what I've come into. And it's a team that's been kicked in the ass for the better part of 10, 15 years.
20.
Sure.
Ever since Barry Sanders was there.
Sure.
They haven't won a playoff game in God knows how long.
Right. So he's a guy who understands that.
What the fuck is that, Trav?
What is that?
Just say it.
What do you... Are you taking a potty break?
Oh, no, I'm good.
I'm okay. Do you wait? Are you wearing a diaper?
Oh wow, my mic wasn't even on.
No, it wasn't.
That's probably for the best. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll continue the show without our producer. No, I'm just saying that he seems like an authentic guy. I think he's somebody who's aware of the situation that he's coming into, and I think that we've heard all the press conferences, regardless of the sport, where they come in and they're like, all this bullshit. He said it, coach speak, where he's going to give you this corny speech about adversity and all this stuff. But it seems like Dan Campbell knows his situation, and it seems like he's their guy for a while. It seems like he's not getting the new head coach treatment where it's like, okay, if you don't produce in 3 years, you're fucked. It seems like he's the guy that's going to be there for a while, and I think that hopefully the front office knows it. We'll see. I like Dan Campbell. He was doing up-downs with the players in practice.
Where did he coach before?
I don't know. I think he was an assistant.
Well, clearly. But do you know who he was an assistant from? And this is an issue that I've had in the NFL for a long time. It's the issue I had with the Browns forever. Like, if you're going to hire a guy, you got to give him time to turn around the culture. you're not going to turn around everything in a year or two, and that was what the Browns did for years. It was like they wanted coaches that were immediate fixes, come in and have us win games right now. And then something finally clicked in their head, and they said, we're going to stick with Kevin Stefanski. And it's worked out. You know, you might not always hit on every coaching hire, but you got to give the guy time to prove himself, and the same goes for your QB1. You got to give him time to prove himself. You got to give him weapons. You got to give him time. You got to give him a somewhat decent defense. I think part of the culture in the NFL is flawed because they don't give head coaches or quarterbacks enough time because they expect results immediately. And it's not just about those two positions. It's about so much more than that.
Well, I think it's also due to the fact that there are so many powerhouses now in the league where if you're not producing on the same level as they are or catching up to what they're doing, you're out. And I think it's a huge problem. And I think we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but it is a problem with new head coaches and new quarterbacks where it's now become a culture of if you don't produce the way we want you to, you're out.
And it's not even it's produce immediately. That's the problem. They don't give guys time. That's why I hate when rookie quarterbacks start like week 1, because coming from college to the NFL, it's a different game. And when you have 4 weeks, 5 weeks in training camp, you're not going to have enough time to develop the chemistry that you need to really produce in the NFL with the guys around you.
Yeah. Dan Campbell was his last job was the assistant head coach and tight ends coach for the Saints.
Okay. So he's an offensive guy.
Offensive-minded guy who's had leadership experience in the past.
They just don't have anybody.
Anyways, let's wrap it up with most likely. So, my question for you, good sir, what quarterback is most likely to have a surprisingly good year, and who is most likely to have a surprisingly bad year?
I had to think about this one a lot because it's a difficult question. There's a lot of guys who have big upsides in the league. And for the surprisingly good years, I narrowed it down to 3. I said Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Darnold, or Tua. And I think it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo because he's got a lot on the line this year. He has injury history, and I think with the reports coming out with Trey Lance that he looks really, really good, Jimmy G is going to have to step up his game. And he's not the quarterback of the future for the 49ers. So that's really known. So he is either going to make a lot of money this offseason, or he's going to go probably back to being a backup quarterback. So I think there is a lot riding on him this year. I think he's going to have a surprisingly good year. I think he's going to stay healthy. He's going to produce for them, and he's going to prove that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. I hope he can. I think he's a really good guy. But just the weapons around him, that defense, it's stacked. So Jimmy G is going to impress a lot of people this year. I doubt he's in San Francisco next year, but this is a make it or break it season for him, and I think he knows it, and I think he's going to produce because of that. For the surprisingly bad year, I'm going Aaron Rodgers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That might be a surprise, but I just think the controversy around him is going to be a lot. He's going to be asked tough questions all year long, and his focus is not going to be 100% on the football field. It's going to be, where am I going to play in 2022? So he's got to be thinking about other stuff than football. And I think it's going to show on the field. Now, to say surprisingly bad for Aaron Rodgers is still going to be a very good year for other people, because we expect Rodgers to throw 40 touchdowns and have 3 to 5 interceptions a year. But if he throws 25, 30 touchdowns in a year, that's a bad year for him. So I'm not saying he's going to have like a really, really bad year. I'm just saying that
You're saying he'll regress.
he's going to regress because when there's controversy, when there's this much controversy around a player and an organization and everything that's going on in Green Bay, your focus cannot be 100% on the football field. I think he's going to underperform expectations. Reigning MVP, he threw like 45 touchdowns and like 4 picks last year. I don't think he's going to reproduce. Obviously, if he moves on from Green Bay at the end of the year, he's still going to get huge money. He's going to go to a place and produce immediately, but I just think there's so much surrounding him and that organization right now that it's going to get in his head a little bit, because how can it not?
Okay. Bold.
It is a little bold.
But maybe not out of the picture. You could see it maybe happening.
Yeah. Well, and he said 1 or 2 seasons ago, he was like, look, a down year for me is career years for guys. So even if he throws 28 touchdowns and has 8 interceptions, that's still a really good year, but it's not Aaron Rodgers level of a year. So I just think he's going to underperform because of what we know to expect from him, which is 45 touchdowns, and, under 5 interceptions. He does not turn over the football.
Okay.
But how around him is that locker room going to be? Because your quarterback is your leader, and when they know this is a 1-year deal, make it or break it, like, are they invested in him because of everything that's going on? And how he's just absolutely destroyed the Packers front office. I mean, oh my God, dude.
He covered them in gasoline and lit a match.
That press conference he had, he shit all over those guys. And then the GM came out, and he basically said that we only signed Randall Cobb because of Aaron Rodgers. Like, there's just so much tension in there. I don't know how supportive the locker room is going to be of him, and I think it's going to show on the field.
Okay. Well, it's going to be like a bit of a last dance.
Well, yeah, and him and Devontae posted a last dance photo. Yeah. So, yeah, it is. I still think they're going to be really good. They're going to win that division, but I think he's going to have a little bit of a down year.
Okay.
All right. What head coach? So, preface, there's always a coach or two in the NFL to get fired mid-season because the team just straight up sucks. What coach this year is going to get fired first during the season?
So, I have 3 candidates. It was tough deciding just because each situation is so different.
Yep.
So I'll give out some awards. So, hottest seat in the NFL, Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay, I agree with that.
Hottest seat.
I agree with that.
But I think Zach Taylor of the Bengals is going to get fired first.
Yeah.
I think that they are such a dumpster fire of a team. And it didn't help, obviously, last year that their number 1 pick blew out his knee in
fifth, sixth week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just their number 1 pick, their franchise quarterback.
Yeah, their guy. I don't think that they're going to meet expectations. And he's such a young coach, and his overall record is like 6-30 or something like that.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's so bad. And mind you, the ceiling is probably super, super low.
Yeah, so what do you, like you said, expectations, like what are the expectations for the Bengals? Because in the past, they've had, 2-3 wins. So is the expectation 5, 6, 7?
I think you probably shoot realistically. You always hear about like setting realistic benchmarks but also setting goals. beyond that so that you strive for something greater, then hopefully in the end you end up with really what you wanted, right? So if they want to reach 4 or 5 wins, they're going to be like, let's shoot for 7 wins, right?
Yeah, that's bold for them.
It's bold,
especially in that division.
It's bold for them, but that's how goal setting works. Is that obviously you're going to go in not expecting to hit 7 wins.
Right.
Realistically, you're 4 or 5 at the most. Let me look at the Bengals' record last year. It wasn't good.
No, it was horrible. Even when Joe Burrow was playing, they weren't winning games. Granted, he looked really good, but they weren't winning football games.
So they were 4-11-1 last year.
So do you expect them to improve that record? Well,
I think the front office knows the situation, obviously.
The expectation would be for them to improve their record.
Right. I think that at this point, the expectation is improve on 4 wins.
And with Joe Burrow healthy for a whole season, hopefully.
Knocking on wood.
Yep.
Nothing but the best for Joey B. So I think he's going to get fired first. I think they don't produce, and that's my answer. But I do think, I think that Cliff Kingsbury has the hottest seat. Pro Football Focus has released the odds for the coach that's going to get fired first.
Okay.
Guess who it is?
Cliff?
No. Mike McCarthy.
Really?
They think that Mike McCarthy,
it's his second year.
He's the favorite to get fired at plus 750.
Wow.
Tied with, I think Vic Fangio.
Yeah, the Broncos.
I
could definitely see him getting
They're
outed.
both favored at plus 750. Yeah. I think that the expectations are so high around Cliff Kingsbury with hopefully the development, I mean, I guess not hopefully, but with the expected development of Kyler Murray, with the addition of J.J. Watt, you still have Larry Legend creeping around there. I think this season is predicated, like we talked before, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
What's going to happen on that front?
Right. And my thing with Cliff Kingsbury is
they can't close games. They cannot close games.
And I think that they're going to be competitive in a lot of games, and they're going to win, a decent amount of games. I don't see them firing him mid-season.
See, I don't either.
I think if he gets outed, it's going to be because they don't make the playoffs, and so that's my thing with Cliff. Because we don't know if he can coach. That's the big dude. He went from head coach at Texas Tech. He got fired from that. Then he went to offensive coordinator at USC. And then he was hired as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. That career path makes absolutely no sense. How do you get fired from a college head coaching job to go to an assistant job to then directly to a head coach job in the NFL?
They're seeing,
it doesn't make sense.
I think the Cardinals are probably seeing that the rise of the young coach, whether it's Sean McDermott, Sean McVay.
Exactly. They hired what they thought was their next Sean McVay. But guess what? Sean McVay, you can't find him. He's a once-in-a-generation type of coach. Not everybody can coach and lead a football team in their early to mid-30s. Why do you think NFL coaches are 40 or 45?
Think about the Bill Belichick's, the Bruce Arians.
And to have no NFL experience before you hire them as a head coach, how often does that turn out well? Nick Saban didn't last in the NFL. Pete Carroll at the beginning did not last in the NFL. He got fired as a head coach of the Patriots. And then
was it Patriots or Jets?
I think it was the Patriots. But anyways, he was in college. He went to the NFL. Then he went back to college. And then he dipped USC before the shit hit the fan. So, but to hire a coach with no NFL experience, it's bold, especially when they got fired from their last head coaching job. So I think if Cliff gets outed, it's going to be after the season. And the whole coaching carousel that happens after every year because they don't make the playoffs. Because the expectation for the Cardinals this year should be we're making the playoffs.
So, I totally agree. And I do think Cliff has the hottest seat,
Yes.
but I think it's going to be Zach Taylor who gets canned.
I
First.
agree with that.
Mike McCarthy, I think the jury's out.
That's just bold, though.
It is bold. It's his second year.
Yeah.
It'll be his second year.
And he didn't have an offseason last year because of COVID.
And his quarterback was hurt for a majority of the season.
Yeah. And they went through an absolute QB carousel last year.
Ben DiNucci,
Andy Dalton, that other guy, like Mike McCarthy to lead the betting odds by Pro Football Focus is fucking bold. Oh, my God.
Who knows?
Vic Fangio, I understand because the Broncos, they're a dumpster fire. Their defense, sure, it's good, but they just cannot figure it out at the end of the day.
Is Drew Lock the answer?
He was another guy I kind of thought about for surprisingly good year, but I just don't think he has it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, I think we've run out of show.
I got one more thing to say, if that's all right.
If it's about soccer,
No.
I'm cutting you off.
No, it's about football.
Good.
All right. So this show comes out tomorrow, but today, August 3rd, Tom Brady, 44th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Now, granted, I am not a huge Tom Brady fan, but to
Do you have respect?
exactly to not respect what he has done in the NFL would be just ignorant of me because the man has won 7 Super Bowls. He turns 44. He's an ageless wonder. The man, when he was drafted, he doesn't look a day older than when he was drafted back in 1999 or 98.
Yeah, there were pictures of him and Zach Wilson. They look like Pledge Brothers.
Yeah.
They look like they can be in the same Pledge class.
He's 44 years old, and he looks like he's in his prime.
I don't know what the secret is. Is it avocados? Is it?
It's that TB12 diet, man.
It must be.
Just the fact that, how many times or after how many seasons have we said, okay, now he's going to start his decline? When he hits 40, he's going to start his decline. When he leaves Belichick, he's going to start his decline. He's 44. He's proven everything wrong. So, it's amazing what he's done. There's a lot of controversy around his career with Spygate and Deflategate and all that stuff. But
it's because he's protected by a system. And with that,
that's it.
I think he's protected by his system.
But by what system though? Because he left the system, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, but he played in the system for 95% of his career.
But then he left the system.
I understand.
And he won a fucking Super Bowl.
I understand that, but I'm saying that's what contributed to his longevity was that he only had to throw out routes.
That's all he throws, but he knows what he's good at.
Right.
All I'm saying is shout out to Tom Brady. He's 44. He's entering his 22nd year. In the NFL. It's incredible what he's done. So thank you, Tom Brady, I guess.
You know, I'm in the same boat. I don't like him, but I absolutely respect his talent, his ability, his longevity, what he's done for the game. He's one of those, we talk about these guys who transcend the sport that they play, whether it's Tiger, whether it's Connor, whether it's LeBron or MJ, whoever it may be. He's obviously the greatest football player to have ever played the game.
Yep.
I think he's protected by a system. By the New England system, I think that...
But he proved it wrong. That was the whole thing. Can Brady win a Super Bowl without Belichick? And can Belichick win a Super Bowl without Brady? Who did it first? Brady did.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all because that's a fact.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying that...
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Oh, fuck me. I'm just saying that I think playing in New England for as long as he did, that system worked for him. He was able to avoid big hits, big collisions. He didn't have to get out of the pocket. He had to throw the ball within 3 seconds. He didn't get hit. He didn't get touched a lot. I'm just saying I think that contributed to why he's still playing.
Okay, but my original point was he turns 44, and somehow he's still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think
it's shocking.
it really
to
is.
say the very
He's-
least, it's absolutely shocking.
Maybe
what he's
you have to
done.
get married to a supermodel and kiss your kids in the mouth to be a good quarterback in the NFL, I guess. And with that, that's a way to end it.
Yeah,
Uh,
love kissing kids on the mouth.
that concludes this episode of the Backburners. Shout out to my co-host SpongeBob Squarehead. Shout out to Chef LaRocca, our social media manager, whose phone did go off.
Nope, that was my computer, actually.
Was that really?
Yeah, because she texted us, and my computer dinged.
What did she
So it's
have
still
to
kind of her fault.
That's true.
Oh, she talked about that. Yeah. I should bring up my
Chicken water cardio.
yeah before we close out. I'm kind of a Jonah Hill type in which I have been up and down in weight for the better part of 5 years.
Jesus.
You're taking your headphones off. You don't even want to listen to this.
Nope, I don't.
I've found the secret, and I'm gonna start a TikTok about it. I'm gonna start a fitness TikTok.
An inspirational fitness TikTok.
Right. I'm gonna.
It's not about a lifestyle. It's about a mindset, bro.
Exactly.
Is that what
bro.
you're gonna be like?
Exactly,
God.
bro.
This isn't a mindset, though. It's strictly just a diet.
It
A really
really
shitty
is.
diet.
No, it's not a shitty diet.
Well, I mean, just
like it sucks.
not enjoyable.
Right. So I've unlocked the secret, and this sounds like a YouTube ad right before you go to your video that you're trying to watch. I found the secret for diet.
Apple cider vinegar.
No,
Every single meal, 4 gallons. And then you lose
Chicken
a
water
million
and
pounds.
booze.
No. It's you swallow a tapeworm. Right. No, the secret that I found is chicken, water, and cardio. It's super simple. Eat chicken, drink water, and do fucking jump ropes. I don't know.
So it's not the carnivore diet. It's the poultry diet.
No, because the carnivore diet gives you gnarly diarrhea.
This one doesn't.
This one doesn't. No, you get full S-shaped turds.
Do
Wow.
eggs count as chicken, or does it have to be chicken
Ooh,
meat?
that's a good question.
No,
Do I get any product of a chicken?
no, chicken product.
so I can eat
chicken.
it. So I can just eat chicken beaks every day if I want.
Yep. Chicken feet. They have
Chicken-
good
yeah.
collagen.
Assholes.
Chicken feet.
asshole.
Chicken feet have good collagen, which improves the quality of your skin and hair. So that's a good choice
Why are you looking at me?
because you have bad skin. Anyway,
I thought you were gonna go for my thin hair, but wow, the
Well,
skin.
that
that's
too. Yeah.
anyways, Jesus Christ! Shout out to Chef LaRocca, social media manager. She's not getting paid. She's not getting college credit. She's not getting work credit either.
she's just cooking up content.
She's cooking up content in the kitchen.
But lacking on TikTok.
We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out soon enough. We're only at 10. We just hit double dig. And our last shout out to, again, Fabio, you've turned this space into something. I want to live here, I think.
Yeah,
I think
that's the goal. Hopefully, this is more of a hang spot.
it's definitely more of a hang spot. And, eventually when I decide that I want to actually go to the bars downtown, this is a pretty good little pregame spot there, bud.
Exactly, and we could just record a pod.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Like
So
2 a.m. on a Friday night. Just
right. We've said this before.
Post Hannah's dance floor.
yeah, just we're like screaming because all of our ears are just like blown already.
We've talked about this before. You and I have to get into a certain mindset, before we do this.
Yeah.
But imagine that podcast.
There's no way we would be able to release it because we wouldn't be speaking English.
Right.
Like I'm kind of sauced right now. But
yeah.
like post downtown, there's no way I would be able to sit here for an hour and have an intelligent conversation.
Oh, it wouldn't be sports talk.
No, my brain doesn't work like that.
No, and for me, I mean, like I'm not I'm not super articulate unless I really think about it. I fucked up our intro for the past 3 episodes, I think.
Yeah. Maybe I should start doing it.
No, it's mine. Anyways, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Backburners Pod, and give us a listen on your favorite streaming service. We're the Backburners, and we'll whisper sweet nothings in your ear next week. See ya!
Thanks, everybody.